MyGM is my most anticipated mode in WWE 2K24. I got early hands-on access with the game at WWE 2K's Community Day event, so I'm very excited to show you guys this entire comprehensive breakdown of everything that is new in the mode. At first glance, you might say this looks all the same, but trust me when I tell you that there is more depth and more detail and updates here than we have seen in the last 2 years. Setting up your season works like last year, where you can have up to 4 players playing against each other in MyGM mode, with new general managers you can select, plus new shows too. We have Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, Stephanie McMahon, Xavier Woods, Tyler Breeze, Eric Bischoff, Mick Foley, Ted DiBiase, William Regal, Paul Heyman, Teddy Long, and your custom superstar option to select as your general manager. No Nick Aldis this year, but you never know, they could patch in Nick Aldis if they wanted to, or just put him in as the custom one. And for shows, you can select SmackDown, Raw, NXT, NXT 2.0, WCW, and now you can also select ECW. Each show you select, you got different perks to go along with it. For your session settings, it looks similar to last year, but they've improved this part as well. The game difficulty now goes even higher to extreme. So if you want more of an extreme challenge, you can do this for gameplay and AI settings in MyGM. Shakeups are back and match unlocks are new, where if you set to default, you start with a few match types unlocked, but you need to unlock them over time during your seasons in MyGM. Or you can have everything set up right away to have full availability. You can choose which way you want to do this. It adds an extra layer of strategy and depth right away. Draft order, we have the defaults there, and there's also round robin and snake order for you to choose from for the draft. The draft itself is very similar to last year's. The class system returns, however, they've improved the system where now not only the class matchups are important, but now the superstar's ring level will determine how well they draw crowds and viewers. This goes even deeper when you factor in perks too, and obviously the goal being to raise the superstar ring level and popularity. The higher the popularity, the better the match results are going to be. It's not just tied to the class system anymore. This is a huge advantage for us now. Triple H is still in charge, but right away with the WWE Net, where the chat is, you'll see it's so much easier to read. It's bigger fonts, bigger text. There's a ton of added prompts, interactions you'll see this year as you go, and you won't have the repetitive generic responses like last year. They've improved this tremendously. You're going to see more dialogue, more interactions with superstars, more chatter. It takes it up a notch. Selecting champions is better now too, finally. So in 2K22 and 23, it's very limited for your champion selection. And in 23, when they started to patch and make improvements, you still were only selecting your primary champions, and you had to select tag champions and mid-card title champions all in your first week of your show. That's no longer the case. This is now fixed. Categories are laid out for all your titles. The ECW show also, it's interesting because they do not include a women's champion since there wasn't one. You cannot add custom titles or custom arenas to MyGM, which is a bummer. Small details like seeing the stats increase of your wrestlers where it's more visible and clear and how they're doing, or giving them a title and it increases their popularity. It's very clear. It's very noticeable now what statistics to look at. The main home screen looks a lot like last year, but with some very good changes. The journal, commission goals, challenges, your rank budget, show info for the month, it's all on the first page instead of scrolling all the way to the last. Under career, you'll see the challenges and trophies you've earned or you're trying to hit for your progress, and there's way more tiers this year to make it more fun and bigger challenge. Under the roster, we now have the new addition of Talent Scouts. This is really cool because it allows you to search for different superstars based on the filter criteria that you select. So you can go from ratings and popularity for your search to see who you want to bring onto your roster. This will help you better manage your roster and what you're really looking for, and of course the cost of hiring them. When you click on a superstar like Umaga, for example, you see their stat breakdowns, you'll see the perks, which gives you additional abilities of that superstar if they come on your roster. The cool detail is that if a superstar is released from another brand or there's a trade, you keep all of those perks and it's assigned to them. So as long as this is your GM mode, your season, year after year, they keep those perks, you change those perks as they go. So you're gonna see different superstars that are gonna help your brand, because a Roman Reigns, for example, might have a ton of quality perks. His contract is up or you get a trade for him. You're keeping all of that now on your show. Contract duration is also finally updated, and I love this. You can sign them for different weeks, but way more freedom than I expected. 5-week contracts and up are now available for you to select, and you see the cost associated with signing them. I saw being able to sign them from 5 to like 24 weeks if I want to do that. For show logistics, this is a huge overhaul that I'm so happy to see. In 2K23, you would change the show logistics like the venue effects, the road crew for every single SmackDown show. So what would happen is you would end up setting up your show every single week and having to set up those logistics of what's the arena, the pyro, the advertising. Every single week you would do a show, and a lot of times you just end up pressing the exact same things because you're tight on your budget, there's not a lot of mobility. It was so much tedious work. That's all overhauled. Now with the revamp, you will be able to set up the show logistics and it locks it all in. You don't have to go back and set it up every week. Set it once and leave it until you get a bigger budget, you gain more assets to unlock the next available tier. But this layout is so clean and easy to understand for new players to MyGM and existing ones too. And assets is another component you need to earn in MyGM to unlock the next tier. So let's look at booking your shows and what has changed here. Right off the bat, you'll see the layout is the same, the matches you can set up, as well as promos, it all looks the same as last year, but there are some big changes. The match promos have been updated to include more options. So we have self promo, role change, advertising, call out, charity, class change, training, and tag team call out. For role class change, it allows you to swap the roles of a talent so you can get better matchups that make more sense. You can see Seth Rollins already has a perk assigned for a cruiser bonus class, and he can use class change promos to swap between specialist and cruiser class automatically. So the rivalries make sense, and the match results will be better and more logical. The superstars that are at level 15 or higher, they qualify to swap between their primary class and the secondary one. This ties into ring level. This ties into you creating your matches on your program to make more sense. And again, we're not tied to just the class system of having to do fighter and bruiser and giant and cruiserweight, and that being the only key metric. That is one metric now, but there is more of an emphasis on XP, ratings for your superstars, their popularity, and all of those pieces mattering when you are going to try to build out the best show you can. Promo training is exactly what it sounds like, and it allows superstars to earn ring XP to continuously boost them up. The really cool one to pay attention to, tag team rivalries are now here. So just setting up a tag team rivalry is going to mean something in MyGM. Whether it's starting up a brand new tag team rivalry or an existing one you're trying to push along, you can do a tag team rivalry call out, and this will help you start or push this rivalry forward. It will boost the tag team rivalries all year long. But let's talk about match types next, because there are some really great improvements, but there are some things that unfortunately are a bit of a negative for this year. With match types, there's some big wins. 4 new match types have been added when booking matches to your show. Each one you select will give you bonuses for using them, which allows you to more strategy on booking your show. So we have the ambulance match, casket match, no holds barred has been added, and special guest referee. Unfortunately, gauntlet match is the only one that is not available in MyGM. I think this is a huge downside because I love gauntlet match this year, and I love it that it's available in universe mode, play, and I was hoping that we would get it here because it really sounded like we were going to, but I understand why we don't have it this year, because if you look at all of the match types that are available, we are still limited to up to 4 player matches in MyGM. And this is probably my biggest negative and biggest critique of the mode this year, is not getting that increase to like 3-on-3, to having it up to 6 players. That means things like battle royales, elimination chamber, war games. We're not getting those in MyGM. That is a big downside for this. I wish they were able to improve it, but I like the ability to have 4 new match types that they have incorporated. Power cards make a return as well, but now with more variety like fixed match or special guest referee too. And a big thing that kind of blew me away in terms of simplicity, in terms of quality of life improvements for MyGM, it's the GM assistant. It's a quick menu, and I really do like it. Instead of having to navigate multiple menus to see all your show info, progress, and you're kind of going between every single tab to figure out what are my messages, how are my rivalries, my roster, like all of it was all over the place. This year, it's all in one spot. You select GM Assistant and everything is brought up. The roster status, the goals, your career standings, your current rivalries, it's all there in front of you now, which is a huge quality of life improvement and makes the experience way better. Another improvement is with the WWE Net. This is where you have your conversation with your superstars, with Triple H, where they want more money for their contracts, they want to get out of your promotion and go and get traded and all that stuff. This is streamlined, this is updated too. Because one of the negatives last year was that you could have like 5 conversations coming in at you for this whole chat, and you'd have to go one by one and address every single one that would pop up. Now you have the option to select which conversation you actually want to engage in. Whether I just want to talk to Triple H today, or I want to talk to Tiffany Stratton, I can just select the one I want to engage in. And the conversations, as I said earlier, they're updated too. There's more variety, there's more to interact with this year. After your first month, you are then going to be allowed to initiate trades. And this is a lot of fun. Your brand can propose 1 to 5 wrestlers that you want to offer as a trade to another brand. But you can also do a combination. So if you want to be able to propose a few talents or 1 wrestler and cash, you can do that if you'd rather just do that or just cash. You can offer kind of whichever combination you like. And sometimes the CPU will accept the trade and sometimes they won't. And likewise, you're gonna sometimes get the prompt from the CPU at different points during your season, and they're gonna be offering you different trades. But once you decline it, you can't go back, you can't try to get it back again or anything like that. After getting the hands-on with MyGM, it has the most depth, the most refresh, and I feel like it got a lot of attention this year, and it has me excited. Some people are not interested in that management style gameplay of going through and managing matchups, contracts, but you have full matches that you can play. The rivalries will make more sense, the matchups make more sense, all the titles are in there, trades, budgets. It's really polished this year. It has a lot of special features. It's missing a few things, and frankly, the biggest thing it's missing is customization in terms of, let's have one custom show that you can put in there and you could have a retro Monday Night Raw, or being able to have more match types available and bigger rosters set up in MyGM, which is probably something that they would look at for 2K25. But with the fixes and with the changes they made this year to this is where I can see a really good direction for them to take this mode, because if they can do those other things like increase the match types in the rosters, for me, I'm probably going to end up spending more time in MyGM than Universe Mode. Quality of life improvements is the name of the game with MyGM this year. It's worth checking out, and the love and attention is definitely there. And if you guys want to know about other modes in the game like Universe Mode, we got this video, which is the full breakdown of my first impressions of Universe Mode this year. Have a great day. See ya.